grade. So today we read A New Role in the World, and then students are supposed to log on and go ahead and complete an assignment on spellingcity.com. Now I did start putting in those missing grades yesterday, but like I said in my email last night, or my Class Dojo message, guys, as long as they're completing them, I'll go in and I'll check periodically, and I will change that in RenWeb. So please don't panic and think, oh my gosh, my kid's failing, whatever. It's fine, just have them go in. And most of those assignments are participation, like they get it done and it's an automatic 100. It's just completing and, repetition, being able to memorize these words and the definitions that go along with the novels for Miss Kotrova. It's very easy. It's user-friendly. They just log on, and it's right there on their dashboard. You can also look at their grades and kind of what they've done and what they have and have not completed. So if you need any help navigating that, by all means, just contact me, and I'll walk you through it. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read A New Role in the World and answer those questions that we went over in class. All right. The United States was now the world's only superpower. This position brought many new challenges. For example, how should the United States use its power? Should the American government and military play a leading role in trying to end conflicts around the world? The United States faced these questions in the Persian Gulf War. In 1990, the Middle Eastern nation of Iraq invaded its neighbor, Kuwait. Iraq's dictator, Saddam Hussein, wanted to take control of Kuwait's rich oil supply. President Bush decided to work with other nations to force Iraq out of Kuwait. The United Nations demanded that Iraq leave Kuwait, but Hussein refused. American troops were sent to the Middle East. And there was hope that the United States military would encourage the Iraqis from invading Kuwait's neighbor, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia also had a large oil supply. The presence of the American troops in the Middle East was called Operation Desert Shield. Hussein was ordered to withdraw his troops from Kuwait by January 15, 1991, but he refused. The United States led an alliance of more than 20 nations in Operation Desert Storm, an attack on Iraqi forces in Kuwait. General Colin Powell, the highest-ranking officer in the United States Armed Forces, was one of the planners of Desert Storm. The fighting lasted only 6 weeks. Iraq was driven from Kuwait. Elected in 1992, Bill Clinton continued working with other nations to settle conflicts around the world. One such conflict took place in Eastern Europe. The communist country of Yugoslavia was made up of 6 regions populated by people of different religions and ethnic backgrounds. The people of Yugoslavia overthrew their communist government in 1990 and held their first free elections in nearly 50 years. But then the regions of Slovenia and Croatia declared themselves independent republics, and soon the regions of Serbia, Macedonia, and Bosnia did the same. With demands for independence, there came violent struggles for control of the new republics. Old tensions between the different ethnic and religious groups broke out in a savage fighting. The United States joined the United Nations in condemning this fighting. President Clinton sent American soldiers to the region to help restore peace. In 1994, former President Jimmy Carter flew to Eastern Europe to negotiate a ceasefire. In 1995, the armed conflict in this region officially ended. One of the people who helped President Clinton make decisions during the 1990s was Madeleine Albright. Albright became the Secretary of State in 1997. She was the first woman to hold that office. Albright believed that cooperation between nations was the key to peace. She said, "We must maintain strong alliances, for there is no better way to prevent war." During Clinton's presidency, the United States also witnessed an increase in terrorism, including the bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993 and attacks on United States embassies in 1998. Clinton continued to send the military where needed. Like President Nixon, Clinton faced a serious scandal during his second term as president. During an investigation on his actions, Clinton lied while under oath. In 1998, the House of Representatives voted to impeach Clinton. He was only the second president to be impeached. After a trial in Senate, senators voted not to remove Clinton from office. All right, the directions at the bottom say answer the following questions using that reading passage that we just did. Number 1, why do you think the United States decided it needed to defend Kuwait and possibly Saudi Arabia from attack? And we said the United States could not afford to have oil supplies at risk. Second question, what was the outcome of Operation Desert Storm? Iraq was driven from Kuwait, which is the country that it had invaded. And then question number 3, what led up to the Persian Gulf War and how did it end? And we said Iraq invaded Kuwait, which led the United Nations to demand that Iraq pull out. Iraq's dictator Saddam Hussein refused. In response, the United States sent troops to the Middle East. After again refusing to withdraw from Kuwait, Iraq was driven out by an alliance of more than 20 nations in Operation Desert Storm. All right, guys, that is it for today. Tomorrow, we're moving on to science. I'm trying to see, I believe it is air masses and fronts. So make sure to have that ready to go. I'll see everybody at noon 30. Bye, guys.